How you doing, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio here. This is Bill Ludwig III, and today's video is on Bill's fantastic WFL III snare drums. Bill, welcome to this video studio today at Sweetwater. Thanks so much for coming here and bringing your snare drums in. You did a sales meeting yesterday to show off the line to all of our sales engineers, and the drums are really looking and sounding fantastic.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for that introduction. That's the way a snare drum should sound and should be played.
There you go. Now, if you want to get some history on Bill and where he's come from, he's been in the drum business for a very long time. I did an interview with Bill a while back, and on our YouTube page, that interview is there. You can go through the history of, how long you've been in the drum business and your family lineage and all of that stuff. But today we're talking about these snare drums. So we have a maple 6.5 by 14 and two mahogany 6.5 by 14s.
Correct.
Give us your philosophy behind these snare drums, and then we'll play them some more too.
Well, I feel that a thin wall shell has more resonance and sounds better. So the maple is a 3-ply maple, poplar maple, with a steam bent support ring inside, the way my grandfather used to make them.
Right.
The mahoganies are 5-ply with an inside and outside veneer of mahogany. It's not stained.
Okay.
And they're great sounding drums, and so far the response has been very positive.
Very nice. Now these you can get different color hardware. That's why the one has gold and the one has chrome, and we'll go through those details with the metal drums in just a second too. But let me put the snare wires on all the drums and play them some more. Now you have these great Trick GS007 throw-offs. So you get 3 different snare wire tensions, really nice throw-off and strainers on all of your snare drums.
Thank you.
All right, and I have the 2 mahogany ones tuned a little bit differently, and this maple one is fantastic with a great crack. So let's get into the maple drum right now. Loud and resonant, great tone. Now I have the drum tuned up high on purpose. I think it went there pretty naturally. It sounds good there, but it makes it have great sensitivity in the hands. It feels really good. What's your philosophy on tuning? Kind of go anywhere the snare drum goes naturally, or do you have like a sweet? You want to find the sweet spot or something like that?
Well, I go for the sweet spot, but it also depends on what kind of music too.
Right.
But I kind of tune it with the shell.
Right.
In its own range.
I could tell you from experience, we have a WFL III snare drum in our studios, and we've used them a bunch of times on a lot of recordings, and the drums fit really all styles of music.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's check out the side stick sound on this drum. It's amazing how a drum shell really brings out the side stick sound of that particular drum. And that has a nice crack, good hoops, and just feels really good.
These shells are so nice before we drill them. If you can hold it on your finger and hit it, they have tone. It just resonates beautifully.
Right. Very cool. All right, let's get into the 2 mahogany drums here for a second. Your drums come outfitted with single-ply Remo heads, right? So a different sort of head combination will give you a different tone on the drums. You put a dry head, like an Evans Genera dry, or any other kind of double-ply head. You can get all kinds of different sounds out of these snare drums. Right now, the single-ply gives you huge decay and resonance, and there's no dampening at all going on right now. No. So a little bit of dampening could dry up the drum a little bit too, but really good. Now this one has a great throaty sound to it. Yeah. Now they're the same drum, but there is a little bit of a difference in the sound.
Well, I think you're tuning the way you.
A little bit of tuning, yeah. And right now this one has the snare wires.
And you're playing.
Thank you very much.
Yesterday at the sales meeting, the guys, the sales engineers came in after Nick performed, and they would play on the snare drums and go, "It doesn't sound the same when I do it." And I said, "Well, you better go get a lesson from Nick."
Yeah, I try. Now this one I have the snare wires all the way at their tightest tension, and this one is at number 2. Let's put it down to number 3. The snare wire tension really makes a huge difference in your tone. I like it when snare wires are buzzing. Yeah. You can really hear this, what the bottom snare head is doing with the snap of the snare wires. gives it that snare drum sound.
Right.
When you make it really tight, it's good for certain styles of music, of course, but
Sure.
it takes away a little bit of that snap and that preciseness of certain things. So that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
But an equally great sound, and with having those 3 different snare wire tensions and a really easy throw off to use, you can change those sounds
Sure.
immediately in your studio session. We've taken the head off of this beautiful mahogany drum. You can really see the difference with the support rings and the gorgeous dark lush color of the mahogany wood. So explain to us the support rings and the edges on these drums.
This is a 5-ply mahogany poplar mahogany shell, and it's actually finished with mahogany veneers inside and out, not stained. And the support rings are steam bent maple, so the steam bending really gives them a good fit,
Right.
as opposed to a cold press type manufacturing. We also have there's a sticker inside every shell that dates it and gives you a number, serial number, plus my signature. Considering I'm the only Ludwig in the drum business, I figured we might as well sign them.
Very good.
So it's a rounded bearing edge.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. If you can feel it's a little bit of a round over.
Yes.
It sharpens out on the inside, but you
Right.
feel the roundness of the edges right here. It's nice and smooth at the touch.
And we do all the finishing work ourselves.
Okay.
We have a factory outside of Kansas City.
Right.
And we do the edging, the drilling, snare beds, everything in-house. So it's
Well, it's
made
doing
by
the
a
job
Ludwig.
because it feels great and it plays great and sounds great.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, these are great wood drums, but you also have some fantastic metal drums too.
Yes.
Why don't we switch these out and then we'll talk and play the metal drums in just a second. That's good fun. It's good fun. We got your metal snares here now.
Yep.
1/8-inch aluminum powder-coated shells.
Correct.
Fantastic look, and these are all the same drum, same size, 6.5 by 14, same 1/8-inch shell.
Yes.
But obviously the hardware is different.
Right.
Talk us through these drums and your philosophy on your metal drums.
Well, with the metal shell, it's a much brighter sound and,
Right.
and a lot of crack to it. But also, we took the Roman numeral 3 and laser cut it through the aluminum shell. So that actually not only looks cool, but it gives the snare a little more venting.
Right.
So the bottom head reacts to the snares quicker and gives a little crisper snare sound. So it is functional as well.
Yeah, and it's got a very cool look.
Yeah,
Now,
and the powder coating goes inside and outside the shells.
And we'll also show you the inside of the drums here in just a second, but let's talk about the hardware. Great looks, and you can kind of custom design the hardware however you like. If you want black, you could have, chrome or gold or whatever you want. So tell us about the hardware choices.
Well, I wanted to give people an option and not just, locked into chrome, which is pretty much the standard for the industry. So
Right.
we offer brass, chrome, and black plated hardware.
Right.
And you can mix and match it for whatever shell color you want. We have got gold on the white drum here, but you can also have black on the white drum, which looks like people say, oh, that's the tuxedo drum.
Right.
And it's a very classy look. So it gives people a chance to customize it to their own likes.
Very nice. And again, these drums are hugely versatile. Sounds great in all kinds of music. They got a great crack to them and really sensitive in the hands too. Again, the snare wire tension's all the way up at the top, the tightest setting. No dampening, kind of wide open, but you really hear the snare wires doing their thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you hear even though I'm buzzing on the drum, you hear every nuance of the stick hitting the head. It's really good. And like the other drums, his wood drums, it's outfitted with a single ply coated head. So if you want to change up a head combination, you certainly can do that and change up the sound. But really versatile drums that sound good and feel good, and just really cool stuff. Congratulations on your products.
Thank you very much. I wanted to create a great sounding, great looking drum at a reasonable price, and I think we pretty much nailed it.
And you have. And like I said to the sales engineers at yesterday's meeting, As all drummers, probably you and me, myself included, we all like to collect snare drums. We have a variety of the ones at home, especially if you're a session drummer. You want to have different options to bring to the band, the producer, all that kind of stuff.
Of course.
Bill's WFL III snare drums will complement any drum kit that you might have, any brand. I mean, these will fit any style, and you can pick the look that will complement the color of your drum kit too. So there's a lot of variety here and of options to build up your collection.
Well, and it's always good, as you said, to have a versatile arsenal of snare drums.
Sure.
For different musical styles and or playing situations.
Sure.
And I say, you know, snare drums are like women's shoes. You could always use an extra pair.
Very good. My wife would agree with you.
Well, I think so.
Very nice.
So buy a snare drum, then take your wife shoe shopping.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect. All right, we've taken the head off of the drum so you can see this really killer looking, beautiful shell, and the powder coating on the inside like you were telling us. Talk to us about the edges on these metal drums.
Well, everything in the metal shells is laser cut before it's actually formed. So the bearing edges, the snare bed, all the mounting holes, and the three are laser cut, so it's absolutely precise for every drum, every time. And then the shell is formed and finished. So it's, as you know, it's extremely important to have a precise snare bed and bearing edge.
It's hugely important. That's what makes snare drums sound good, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
So I'm very happy with the way this turns out. And the powder coating inside just adds that extra little
Totally.
ooh-ah.
Bill, thanks so much for joining me in today's video, talking about your snare drums. Let me play them. Let the audience hear the drums. They're fantastic instruments. I can't wait to get them in the studio, make some more music with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Please, if you have any feedback or comments, leave them at the bottom of this video. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. There's a ton of great content there. And if you want any more information on any WFL III product, just contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. Thanks a lot for watching.